So welcome back to HEC's After School program. So for this activity, we'll be making paper reliefs. For this activity, we need scissors, colored paper, a pencil, a ruler, and a glue stick. So, paper reliefs basically involve many different designs. A couple of designs will be shown here on the screen. Regarding paper reliefs, they require imagination and creativity, and they're pieces of art. They're an expression of who one is. So when making your paper relief, try to choose colors that represent who you are. So, our first step of making paper reliefs is to make 3" by 3" squares. So I'm gonna take a ruler and I'm gonna measure every 3 inches. And every 3 inches, I'm gonna mark it down. So out of a regular piece of paper, you should be making around 6 squares. So in total, it is recommended that you use around 24 squares. So once we finish drawing the 3" by 3" marks, we should have a grid of around 6 squares. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These squares down here do not measure 3" by 3", so we're not going to be using them. So now we can start to cut it out. So now we have 6 squares, and we can repeat this process to create more squares with different colors. So now that I have my squares, we have to start our second part. And our second part involves making the shapes that make up the paper relief. So basically, paper reliefs involve symmetry. So what is symmetry exactly? Can anyone tell me? Symmetry is when a figure, if folded in half, has 2 matching sides. So let's look at some examples of symmetry in real life. This is my phone. So, were I to cut my phone in half and draw a line straight in the middle, will one side match the other side? Yes, it will. Now let's look at the back of my phone. Now, if I were to cut a line on the back of the phone, would one side match the other side? No, it wouldn't, because of the fact that there's cameras on this side, and on this side there's no camera. So now, let's take a look at other examples of symmetry. So look at your chair that you're sitting on. Is your chair symmetrical? So what role does symmetry play in our lives? Let's go back to symmetry. Were there no symmetry in our world, things like a chair wouldn't function well. Why? Because the chair would look weird, and also one leg could be taller than the other. And let's look at the table. Were this table not symmetrical, it wouldn't have the same function. If one leg was shorter than the other, then the table wouldn't be able to hold things correctly. So for the paper relief, we require a background color. For my background color, I'm going to choose black. We're going to find the midpoint by drawing a line diagonally on both sides of the paper. So after you have your lines, you should find your midpoints. And there's the midpoint. And from here, we're going to design the paper relief. So now let's put this to the side. After you choose the 3 colors, you should have around 8 squares each. So now for my design, I'm gonna choose 3 colors that represents me. My 3 colors are orange, light orange. This neon color, and if you want to, you could also use a fourth color. So for my fourth color, I'm actually going to use yellow. So now it's time to make the folds. So for the first fold, I'm going to be making the kite fold. And it's called a kite fold since it resembles a kite. So I'm going to fold my piece of paper in half. And it should make a triangle. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna open it up and we're gonna bring the edges together. So I'm gonna fold it inside. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the other side. So now we have a kite fold. For the second one, we're actually going to be making a hat fold. So for the hat fold, let's fold a piece of paper in half again. Then fold it in half again. And now let's open it up. We're going to fold it inside. I'm going to fold the other one inside as well. And now we have the hat fold. The last design that we're going to be making is going to be the samurai fold. So for the samurai fold, we're going to fold the paper in half. And then we're going to fold it in half again. Then we're going to open it up and fold it diagonally. After folding it diagonally, let's fold it in half again. So now let's open up our piece of paper up again. So as you can see, you should see an outline of a triangle here, another triangle here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab the piece of paper and we're going to crease the edges together. We're going to fold the edges together. These two edges that you see here, we're going to fold them inside. We're going to pinch it inside. After you pinch it inside, we're going to do the same thing to the other side. We're going to pinch the other part inside as well. Pinch it inside, and we should be left with this triangle. So after you make your folds, you have to make another inner fold for the samurai fold. I fold one flap inside, and then I fold the other one inside. And we are left with a samurai fold. So now we keep doing this and we try to make 8 shapes, well, 8 repetitions of each. So now here are my 8 kinds of folds. My hat folds, 8 of them, and my samurai folds. So for this, for the specific design that I'm making, I'm actually only going to use 4 samurai folds. Though, remember with paper reliefs, you don't have to follow a specific design. It's up to you. Where does your creativity lead you? Where does your imagination guide you? You can make so many different types of designs depending on how you want it to look like. At the end of the day, you want it to be an expression of who you are. You want it to be an art piece that tells people something about you. So now it's like this. So now let's go back to our background paper. So we're gonna start by deciding how we're gonna design it. So for me, I'm gonna start by designing it by putting the kite bolts around each other. And this is how it looks like. It sort of looks like a flower of some sort. So now for the next part, I could either, depending on how I want to design it, I could either put them around here, all around there, or I could actually put them in the inner circle. So I'm actually gonna put them in the inner circle. So now this is my design so far. So now for the final part of the design, I'm thinking about putting the hat bolts around. Okay. Okay. So after you decide how you want it to look like, you're gonna start gluing it all together. Take some time experimenting. Remember, the most important part about this is you have fun. Let your creativity take over. And now, we are done. So what do you think of this? What feelings do you feel when you see your people you love? Does it make you feel happy? Does it make you feel cheerful? Does it make you feel hyper? Does it make you excited? So, what feelings do you feel? What do the colors tell you? And that's all for today's lesson. So, thank you for joining me. If you like this video, make sure to give a thumbs up. Feel free to comment anything, and feel free to look at the other videos on our YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. Have a nice day.